The Eucharistic miracle overseen by Archbishop Bergoglio, originally published by the Magis Center, Understanding Eucharistic Miracles for Catholics. The Eucharist is not merely symbolic, it is a profound mystery at the heart of the faith. According to Catholic teaching, every time a priest consecrates the bread and wine at Mass, they are truly and substantially transformed into the body and blood of Jesus Christ. This process, known as transubstantiation, is a miracle in and of itself, occurring at every Mass around the world. However, the Church also recognizes certain extraordinary manifestations of this central mystery, referred to as Eucharistic miracles. These are rare supernatural events in which the hidden reality of Christ's presence in the Eucharist is revealed in a physical and empirical manner, most notably through a consecrated host visibly bleeding or transforming into what appears to be human flesh, while the spiritual miracle of the Eucharist occurs daily and invisibly. Eucharistic miracles of the second kind are very rare and usually invite rigorous theological and scientific scrutiny. Such extraordinary signs are not necessary for belief in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, but they do serve to strengthen faith, especially in a secular age increasingly skeptical of spiritual truths. Among the most fascinating and rigorously studied Eucharistic miracles in modern times is one that occurred in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in 1996, under the pastoral care of Archbishop Jorge Bergoglio, would later become Pope Francis. Historical precedent. The miracle of Lanciano. Before delving into the Buenos Aires miracle, it's important to briefly consider the most famous of all Eucharistic miracles, the miracle of Lanciano, which occurred in the 8th century in Italy. During Mass, a Basilian monk who doubted the real presence witnessed the consecrated host transformed visibly into human flesh and the wine into actual blood. This ancient miracle has been preserved for over 1,200 years and was examined by scientists in the 1970s, who confirmed the presence of cardiac tissue and type AB blood. This precedent is significant because it provides a historical and scientific framework for evaluating newer alleged miracles. Lanciano's case showed that the Church is open to scientific examination of such phenomena, though not every claim is accepted as miraculous. In fact, most reported miracles are not validated by the Church due to lack of sufficient evidence or possibility of natural explanation. That's what makes the Buenos Aires case so compelling. The Buenos Aires Eucharistic miracle. The event began on the evening of August 18, 1996, in the parish of Santa Maria y Caballito Almagro in Buenos Aires. During that evening Mass, a woman approached the presiding priest, Fr. Alejandro Pozet, and told him that someone had desecrated a consecrated host. She had found the host discarded on a candle holder at the back of the church. Desecration of the Eucharist is a serious offense in the Catholic Church, and when such incidents occur, priests are instructed to handle the matter with utmost reverence. Since the host had already been consecrated, it could not be thrown away. Because it had been exposed to dirt and contamination, it could not be consumed either. Fr. Pozet followed the standard procedure in such cases. He placed the host in a glass of water and stored it in the tabernacle, allowing time for it to dissolve naturally, a reverent way of allowing the sacred species to cease existing physically. But what happened next defied all expectations and natural explanation. Transformation of the host. When Fr. Pozet opened the tabernacle 8 days later, on August 26th, he discovered that the host had not dissolved. Instead, it appeared to have transformed into a fragment of bloody tissue, significantly larger than the original host. The unexpected size increase, along with the appearance of red tissue, immediately raised alarm and wonder. The event was reported to then-Archbishop Jorge Bergoglio, the future Pope Francis. Archbishop Bergoglio responded with caution and seriousness. He instructed Fr. Pozet to have the mysterious tissue professionally photographed to document its condition and to store it securely. The photographs were taken on September 6, 1996. For the next 3 years, the sample was kept in secret within the church's tabernacle, away from public attention, to observe whether it would decompose naturally. To the amazement of all involved, the tissue remained completely intact, with no signs of decomposition. Even though it had been preserved without refrigeration or chemicals, this fact alone was remarkable and posed a serious challenge to any natural explanation. Scientific analysis begins. In 1999, after 3 years of unchanged preservation, Archbishop Bergoglio gave permission for the tissue to undergo a thorough scientific investigation. Dr. Ricardo Casta, a well-known neuropsychologist and former atheist, who had since converted to Catholicism, was appointed to oversee the study. On October 5, 1999, he took a sample from the tissue, in the presence of church authorities, and sent it to a forensic laboratory in New York City for blind testing. The scientists involved were not told of the sample's origin to avoid any potential bias. Upon examining the sample, he made an astonishing discovery. A fragment of a living human heart. The tissue showed signs of severe inflammation, with a large number of white blood cells penetrating the structure, indicating that the heart had undergone intense stress or trauma. Most importantly, the white blood cells were still intact and active, which would only be possible if the sample had been taken from a living human being. White blood cells typically break down quickly once removed from a living organism. Their preservation in this sample indicated that the heart tissue was alive at the time it was collected, Dr. Zugibe concluded. What we see here is a fragment of the heart muscle from the left ventricle. It is inflamed and contains many white blood cells. This indicates the sample came from a heart that was alive and had undergone significant trauma, as if the person had been beaten severely in the chest. Challenging natural and fraudulent explanations, the implications of this analysis are staggering. A number of natural explanations can be immediately ruled out. Fraud by sourcing human tissue. It is inconceivable that church officials would obtain living cardiac tissue from a living person, particularly through unethical or criminal means. Preservation by artificial methods. The tissue had been stored in ordinary water, inside a tabernacle, without any chemical preservatives or refrigeration. No known natural conditions would have prevented decomposition over 3 years. Origin of tissue. The tissue was collected directly from the host placed in the tabernacle by Fr. Posette and later extracted under supervision by Dr. Casta, ensuring a direct chain of custody. Additionally, the blood type of the tissue was determined to be a B, the rarest blood type found in only about 4 to 7% of the world population. Interestingly, the Shroud of Turin and the Sudarium of Avitho, both relics associated with Jesus, also contain A blood. While this correlation is not itself definitive proof, it is a fascinating convergence of evidence across centuries. Archbishop Bergoglio's role and discretion throughout the process. Archbishop Bergoglio remained discreet and prudent. He did not publicize the event widely, nor did he make any public declaration of the event being miraculous. His focus appeared to be ensuring a proper and dignified investigation, allowing science and faith to intersect in a responsible way. It wasn't until years later, when he became Pope Francis, the global Catholic community became more widely aware of his involvement in this extraordinary event. While he has not commented extensively on the matter, his direct role in initiating and overseeing the investigation lends substantial credibility to the account. Faith and science in harmony. The Church has always emphasized that faith and reason are not contradictory. Authentic miracles are not opposed to science, they transcend it. The Church does not demand belief in private revelations or miracles, but when signs like this occur, they are offered to the faithful as possible invitations to deeper belief. The Buenos Aires Eucharistic miracle serves as a modern example of this principle in action. It bridges the gap between centuries-old theology and cutting-edge medical science. It affirms the mystery of the Eucharist not just through doctrine, but through empirical evidence, available for all who are open to exploring it. Continuing the investigation, those interested in further study of Eucharistic miracles, including this one, are encouraged to explore the writings of Fr. Robert Spitzer, Jesuit priest and physicist, who has published extensively on scientifically documented miracles. His article, Contemporary Scientifically Validated Miracles Associated with Blessed Mary, Saints, and the Holy Eucharist, is an excellent resource for both skeptics and believers. For additional context, the work of Dr. Ricardo Casta, who continues to lecture and write about the Buenos Aires miracle and other phenomena, offers compelling insights into how science can illuminate spiritual truths. Final reflections. The 1996 Eucharistic miracle in Buenos Aires remains one of the most thoroughly documented and scientifically examined miraculous events in modern church history. The fact that it occurred under the pastoral leadership of the future Pope Francis adds a unique historical and spiritual significance. While the Church continues to study such events carefully, the faithful are reminded of a profound truth. The real presence of Christ in the Eucharist is not dependent on miracles. Every Mass, every consecrated host, is a miracle beyond scientific explanation. The extraordinary events, such as that in Buenos Aires, serve only to reawaken our awareness of the sacred mystery at the heart of the Catholic faith. Sources: Magis Center FR, Robert Spitzer, S.J. Dr. Ricardo Casta, Dr. Frederick Zugi B., M.D. Ph.D., The Vatican International Theological Commission.